Alright, so now we're going to work on getting summary tables from our data, because right here they're organized by burned and unburned and the categories and so on, but now we need to get the average values for the canopy trees for the burned section, and then the average values for canopy trees for the unburned section, and so on. So what you can do, you can create some sort of a table like this one for the, let's say, first for the average distance, but of course the same will apply for DBH and so on. So average distance, and then you can have the categories that you want: canopy, subcanopy, and shrub, and then let's say burned and unburned. You can put them in switched order, it doesn't matter, okay? Whichever you prefer. So here what you can do is, like, if you select the values, for example here for the burned, so you see I'm just going to select a couple. As I select all of them here at the bottom already gives me the average value, 13.91. I have 12 values in this one and the whole sum of my values. You can right click here and you can change, you can get a couple of different measurements that will give you like a quick summary. But overall I don't want just those, so I can like select the first one and scroll down to the end of the canopy in the burn section, hold the shift button, either in a Mac or Windows, all work the same, and then once you hit it, you click it, you'll get again an average of 13.42, of course slightly different, does not have more numbers, and a count of 48, so 13.42. I'm just going to write this number down here. And of course, you can do the same, right? Then you can keep scrolling down and get an average for shrub, an average for subcanopy, and so on. So I'm just going to make up some numbers here: 14, and then 0.7, 1.2, and so on. Okay, so let's say those are the real numbers as I kept doing this over and over and over all the way to the bottom. And then later you need to create a plot with this information. But see that this is only the average. You still need to have the standard deviation, because you need to add the standard deviation to your plot as well. The standard deviation for distance. And then you can do canopy. Let me just copy and paste because I'm lazy. There we go, and these numbers I need to remove. Right, so then how to calculate the standard deviation? You can, go basic and go to Google standard deviation formula. I already have it here. So the standard deviation formula, there's this whole formula, which is the square root of the variance, and the variance is the sum of each value of the population subtracted by the mean, and you get the 2 squared, and then all of the sum of all of those numbers you divided by the population size, the number of points that you have. So that's quite a lot of things to do. There's a much easier way to do that, which in Excel you can use formulas. So to do a formula, you can hit, here is my formula, so I can hit equals, and then as soon as you start typing there will be a bunch of functions, and STDEV is for standard deviation. Oh, and I want standard deviation for the same guys, right, for the distance for the burn. So you can click here, drag and drop all the way at the end of the burn section, or I'm sorry, for the canopies, because first I'm doing just canopy trees, right? And then once you finish, here's your entire formula. Don't click anywhere else, just hit enter, and now you got here. So this is the standard deviation for canopy trees. And then you can keep doing this over and over for the other ones, right? So there is, of course, there is an easier way to do that, which is to use the subtotal function. Subtotal function will do that for you. So the first thing you need to know is, like, you need to notice is how your data is organized. And as we already saw, it's all the canopies are grouped together down at the bottom, and then it switches to shrub. So basically what I want a summary at the end of this column right here, right? I want to have like a summary from these values up there and these values and so on. So Subtotal does that for you. So you just need to click here on data, and then at this part, some computers will have this grouped as outline. So you need to enter in outline and then go to subtotal. Once you click subtotal, you'll see that you want at each change in our case, it's not in location, right? Because like it's burned and it will group everyone from burned versus unburned. No, I want each change in category, right? As soon as I switch from canopy to shrub, I want to get a summary of my data. And then you can use the summary, the function average, count, and so on. So in this case, I want the mean value, so it's the average. And then where I want to have a subtotal of the average function to my point. I want for distance and dBH. So just check those two, and then you can leave like to replace current totals, and you're going to have a summary below the data. Once you hit OK, notice they created here some filters on the left panel, and then if you scroll down, it already gives you the average for canopy trees, 13.42, which is exactly what I had before, and it also gave you for dBH, and if you keep scrolling down, it will give you for every single one of them. Of course, for dBH for shrub, it's non-existent, so it will just give you an error. So just ignore that one and keep going. But then now you just need to, copy and paste, or I'm sorry, just get those numbers. If you copy and paste, see that it's a formula, will give you an error, but just get that number 13.42 or 23.76. which is shrub 23.76. Oh, pardon me, it's in the average, 23.76, and so on, right? But you still need to do the standard deviation, and you can do the standard deviation exactly the same way. Go back to clicking in the table, data, subtotal, and now you want to do standard deviation, STDEV. Before you click OK, just pay attention to something. Here already left as category because it's what I had before, so it will keep the same. Just make sure you get it right. However, don't replace current subtotals, otherwise it will remove the values from your mean values and will replace with standard deviation. So if you uncheck this one, it will just add the standard deviation below the average. So once you hit OK now, and make sure you have like for distance and dBH checked. Once you hit OK and you scroll down, now you have the average number and the standard deviation that you wanted for them as well. So there you go. Now you have all the information you need to fill your table and to create your plots.